Hello. You'll have to excuse me. I'm trying to do like 2 or 3 things at once here. But yeah, this is a lockdown catch-up video. Lockdown catch-up video 2. I think I did one yesterday. First one yesterday. But yeah. Anyway, the days are merging into one. I was trying to take my medication, and then I have to put that lot behind me away. Grocery delivery. But yeah, anyway, I'm just doing this video because in the first video I mentioned, I'll finish those later. But all my meds. But yeah, I'll finish those in a bit after the video, I think, because I'll be here forever otherwise. Yeah, so I mentioned in the video I did yesterday about the lockdown and about it's supposed to be ending for me on the 30th of June, which is in a few days, I think. Yeah, not anymore. They've extended it now to the 1st of August. I got a letter from the government's Health and Social Care department, and basically informing me that I have to stay in lockdown because I am part of the shielded at-risk group. So I have to stay in lockdown, and basically they say they have relaxed it a little bit though. We are now allowed to go out for one form of exercise once a day. So I can go for a quick walk or something, you know, which is quite good. I'm pleased about that. At least I can get out of the flat for a little bit and get some fresh air and sunshine. So I'm starting to look extremely pale. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, but I'm still supposed to socially distance from everyone. I'm even supposed to be socially distancing from John, my other half, who lives with me, which we've not been doing. That's just impossible. We live in a 1-bedroom flat, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, 1 living room, and I struggle to do things on my own, so I need a lot of help from John. So basically doing what they say, following their guidelines, where if you cannot use separate bathrooms and you have to use the same one, clean it after every use. Trouble is, I have issues with cleaning. I struggle with some of the cleaning and John needs to do some of the jobs. So either way, John's going to have to come in and clean it for me. So that's just gonna, you know, it's no point in socially distancing when he has to do that. But yeah, we're supposed to use separate beds, which isn't happening because the trouble with me is I stop breathing in my sleep sometimes. So John needs to be there to roll me over or whatever and get me breathing again. So if John wasn't in the room, yeah. So you know, so socially distancing that way we've not been doing. We've just been living like we usually do, but we have been following some of the other rules, like the hand washing regularly, wiping down the sides, stuff like that, making sure everything's kept clean, and socially distancing from anyone that comes to the door, like delivery men and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, so now I'm stuck till the 1st of August in lockdown, which kind of ruins my plans for our staycation. We're gonna go and have a few days away in the New Forest, but now it doesn't look like that's gonna happen this summer, and we haven't really had a holiday or vacation kind of thing for a few years now, because we've never had the money to do it, and now we have the money to do it. We're like, screw it, let's do it, let's go for a little staycation. And we were looking at places, holiday parks and camps who have disabled access caravans, you know, and disabled access holidays, so it would be easier with my wheelchair and things. And we were gonna go test that out and maybe do a review of it, but now we can't do that, so that's probably gonna have to wait till next year, next summer. Hopefully coronavirus is gone by next summer. Probably not, but yeah. But I'm doing well with John's hat. I started yesterday, doing quite well. That's going to be the brim. So basically these loops here on this bit will be folded inwards here and then hooked onto the pegs, and then I can put the black wool on and carry on, because John wants the red brim and the black body of the hat. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on John's, and I've kind of figured out that it's the knitting that has caused the issue with my hand. Basically a couple of weeks, I think a week, 2 weeks ago, it was around the time I was doing this hat, my hands, I started to get pins and needles, mostly in this hand, pins and needles and numbness in this hand, and it felt really weird. And I originally thought, okay, it's probably a circulation thing or something to do with my heart or a fibromyalgia weird symptom or something. So I couldn't do knitting properly because of the numbness and everything in my hands, and I was getting muscle spasms and weirdness going on, so I couldn't really knit. But then it calmed down and it started to feel better, so I started knitting again yesterday, doing John's hat, and I started to get the issue again, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, put 2 and 2 together, maybe it's the knitting that's causing the issue with my hand. So I think what I've been doing is, because of the way I hold the hook, it's been pushing on this part of my hand, which has been dislocating this knuckle here, and injuring this little finger and injuring the muscles here. And then of course, because of all the movement of using the hook, it sprained my wrist as well, because my wrist was dislocating. My wrist dislocates all the time and it doesn't hurt anymore. It's just I barely notice it anymore. So now what I do is, when doing anything busy like this where I'm doing a lot of movement, I put Kingsology tape on my wrists to stop them dislocating so much and to protect the muscles around the joint. So that's what I've done here. I've put Kingsology tape on this finger and down along there, and then I've got the Kingsology tape on my wrist as well, and then I've put this bandage over the top whilst I'm doing the knitting to give it extra support and to cushion the end of the hook, which it seems to be helping. So yeah, it's the knitting, and I only get this issue, it seems, I only got it with this hat and John's hat, and it's because I'm using thicker wool. I mean, John's one, extremely thick wool. So when the thicker the wool you're using on a loom, the more tension there is. So when you're trying to pull the loop so you can knit over the peg, you have to pull more. And of course, pulling more, you've got to grip the hook more, wherever I put that. But yeah, so trying to grip, with me and my hand issues because of the Marfan syndrome, trying to grip a small thing and pull and everything is extremely difficult. So yeah, I figured out the thicker the wool, the more tension on the loom and the more you have to pull. Because with a thinner wool, a thinner yarn, like this one, if I don't drop it, that's very thin. I don't have any issues with this one at all. This isn't cause any problems. This is very easy. So it's the thicker wools that are causing the problem. So I'm going to have to stop using thick wools. I think after John's hat, I'm just going to stick to the thinner yarns. I kind of like the cotton yarns because they have a nice feel to them. Especially the Cotton Kings. Cotton Kings yarn. I love their yarn, and I have so many different patterns and colours and whatnot. But yeah, this thing that I'm knitting here, I've got two knitting projects on the go at once. I've ended up with. But yeah, this thing is going to be a keyboard wrist support. So the end here will be sewn up. I will then stuff it with stuffing, and then sew up the top. And yeah, it'd be like a cushion that I can put in front of my keyboard to rest my hands on whilst I'm typing. Not that I do a lot of typing, but I do use the keyboard when playing games. So yeah. I'm getting tangled in this now. But yeah, so that's the issue that's going on with my hand at the moment. I have a knitting related injury, which is crazy. Sounds completely crazy. But that's the thing, when you have something like Marfan syndrome, you do get injured very, very easily with simple things. I mean, some of the ways I've been injured before, I dislocated my ankle and tore all the ligaments just by stepping down out of the front door of my mum's old house. I stepped down out the front door, and I don't know if I must have stepped wrong at a wrong angle or something, I don't know, but my whole ankle just went and yeah, hospital. I dislocated and tore all the ligaments and muscles in my knee playing with my dogs when I was a kid. The dog ran into my leg. Now, if it had been my bigger dog, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, that would have been understandable, because Staffies are big, muscly, heavy, chunky dogs. But no, it was a little tiny Jack Russell Terrier kind of dog. It was a mixed breed, but he was tiny, very light, no muscle, just, and he ran into my leg lightly, and my whole leg just went bent in the wrong way, and done. Hospital again. So yeah, it's very easily, like, our joints dislocate super easily, and where the connective tissues are so weak, so the tendons, muscles, ligaments are all made from connective tissue. So when we dislocate or break our bones, we usually do a lot of damage to the tissue around it, to the ligaments and muscles around it. So yeah, and usually we need to be put in casts and stuff like that for when we dislocate, to stop any more damage. I remember I damaged my hip. I was skateboarding and the board went one way, I went the other, and fell hip first onto concrete, and it bruised and tore all the ligaments, and I got a tiny hairline fracture. And I had to be in traction just for that for weeks, which was unusual, because usually they don't put people in traction for that, but if you're a Marfan patient, so, like, another way I've injured myself before, I dislocated my thumb whilst eating Pringles because of the tube. I was trying to reach down to get the Pringles at the bottom of the tube, and instead of being smart and tipping the tube up and pouring them into my hand, I was too focused on what was going on the TV that I kind of shoved my hand in there, pulled it out, and my thumb was dislocated. Which the thumb hurts a little bit, because my thumb, I don't usually dislocate them. They're quite solid. Well, I say solid in Marfan syndrome terms. But yeah, my fingers, they're easily dislocated. So my wrists, I don't feel the dislocating of my wrists anymore. Ankles, don't feel them dislocating anymore. They dislocate all the time, several times a day. My toes, some of my toes are permanently dislocated. They won't go back into place. So yeah, it's super easy to injure yourself if you have Marfan syndrome. So we've got to be really careful. And the problem with me is careful isn't in my vocabulary. I don't do careful. I'm the kind of person who's like, screw it, let's do it anyway. If we get injured, we get injured. We can easily tape it up. We can easily go to the hospital and get it fixed. It's fine. So I don't worry about that stuff, because I know either way I'm going to get injured. Either I live in a bubble and wrap myself in cotton wool and live a really, really boring sheltered life, or I go and do things I want to do. I take risks and live a better life that's not so boring and sheltered, you know. But yeah, I know my limits, so I try and stick to them. And that, you know, the odd sprained wrist and dislocation doesn't bother me. I can fix that myself quite easily, and I know it's going to happen, so why worry about it, you know? We do the activities and worrying about fixing the damage later, you know? But John, he's a bit of a worrywart. He's like, oh no, don't do that, you're going to hurt yourself. I'm like, shh, be quiet. I know I'm going to hurt myself. So what? You know? But yeah. Some shouting going on outside. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, to be honest. I just wanted to do a catch up about the lockdown thing and stuff. Hopefully, I should be in the next few days sorting out a gaming video. Got a lot of plans, a lot of things in the works for gaming videos. Some collab videos, hopefully, with some of R4G and with John. Trouble is trying to collab on videos with John. We're in the same room, so we're both on a headset. Each other's mic can pick up each other, so his mic picks me up and my mic picks him up. So when we're trying to stream through the OBS off of the Xbox, with the Xbox console companion, John echoes a bit because the OBS and the whole lot, it's picking his voice up twice. It's picking him up through his mic and my mic, so it's a little bit tricky. So we've got to sort out a better mic situation so we have one mic to share. So then it won't pick him up twice, it'll pick both of us up through one mic. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get some collab videos done that way. But yeah, some gaming videos on the way in the next few days, so if you're into the gaming, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, you can find Chronically Suki on Xbox. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and obviously YouTube. So yeah, do go and check all that out. On my Insta, usually I have a lot of knitting photos and cat photos on there, a lot of photos of Squeak. She's becoming a bit of an Insta sensation a little bit, so if you want to check that out, go to Insta. But yeah, thanks for watching. I shall see you all later. Bye bye.